Yeah, so I'm Andrew Lufkin. I'm a rising senior at WPI, study management engineering, and I play shooting guard for men's varsity basketball team.
And I'm John Adams, mechanical engineering major going into my senior year as well, and I'm a power forward.
We have a couple people here and that are in Puerto Rico. We were just talking before we started recording here about it's a little bit of a vacation, a little bit of a change of pace. If you guys could just tell us what you're doing down there and kind of the IQP experience as a whole.
Yeah, so we're just studying our IQP interactive qualifying project, and we were chosen to be in the Puerto Rico Project Center. So it was 7 weeks in the prior term of preparing for this project, and then 7 weeks actually at the Project Center. So we're both in different individual projects, but it's a mix of project work, cohort stuff as a group of 24 students. Definitely some fun on the side, but also just very impactful projects for impacting the community and really interacting with just different stakeholders and community members.
Yeah, so right now I'm working with community members and community centers across the island. A couple of like Lagoico and Kabui Loma centers. These centers are open for the people who need help in terms of resources. If there's an emergency, like a natural disaster such as hurricanes, because they're really big down here after Hurricane Maria and Irma, these centers started to open because schools were being abandoned because there wasn't enough kids to fill the schools. The government was losing money. These buildings essentially just kind of got thrown out the window in terms of use. So a couple organizations such as the Goico and HLE picked these schools up, turned them into community centers. And so now my team and myself are currently working to help them try to gather more resources, funding, help that they need from not only the local community, but also the government of uh, Puerto Rico and the United States.
I'm with a group of three other great guys that are all rising seniors as well, and we're working in a small community called La Perla, which is right outside Old San Juan. And Old San Juan has a massive colonial wall that is surrounding it, and La Perla is right outside that colonial wall, so it can really be hit by Luff was saying here, like different hurricanes and much lower elevation, and they have 500 years of history of kind of being known as like a small community that was like forgotten about or kind of just like of lower class. So there's histories of like the cemetery being put there, the slaughterhouse, slaves. Rather than being put in Old San Juan, it's all been put in La Perla. So there's a stigma of just a much lower class, like struggling type of community. So this is the WPI's first year and first cohort team of four working in La Perla, and we're just really working towards changing that stigma through community mapping. So we're talking with a lot of different community members and residents, and working with the government called La Junta within La Perla, and we're really just trying to help slowly change that stigma and really just educate both tourists and the locals on different just great positive things that La Perla has to offer, especially with arts and culture um, and their very rich history. So that's just a little bit about it.
I mean, you guys are, like you said, first time down there representing WPI. Like, what does that first 7 weeks look like in terms of preparation for this?
So in terms of preparation, it's kind of like another class that you take at WPI, just at night. So it really starts out by kind of just getting a feel for who you're going to be traveling with in terms of the cohort, because you're down here for 7 weeks with people you may not have met before you start preparing to come down here. Having a good idea of the people that are good at this, the people that are good at that, who can talk Spanish, who can't, like knowing that information is pretty invaluable. So it kind of starts with getting a feel for who you're going to be traveling with, as well as the background to the place that you're going. We're lucky enough to have gone to San Juan, Puerto Rico, but I know kids that are going to Taiwan. I know kids that are going to Denmark, Copenhagen. So the first 7 weeks are just really understanding your whereabouts in terms of where you're going to be traveling with the people. And like you said, how are you going to be implementing your project in the place that you're traveling to?
That like you're given your team of regularly it's four students, I believe. It varies depending on project centers, but you're just given your group and you learn your project, but that project very well may change. So it's really all about what the community and what the sponsor truly wants, and you try to start engaging with them while you're in Worcester to begin getting a feel of what truly are going to be your goals. Because ideally, you want to come down here and know exactly what you're going to do for 7 weeks, but that very well may change depending on
Yeah.
different situations. Because like we're dealing with like locals and community members, like this is their life. You know what I mean? So like it's at the end of the day, it's like we're just really trying to make a difference. But I know with my project, like we always say, like we're just trying to listen to the community's voice, and wherever the community's voice takes us, like we're going. So it's a very open-ended feeling, and it's unique because it's not like there's just a to B path. Like it goes all over the place. So it's very unique in that way.
What has been kind of your biggest challenge so far? And then what is something that, has worked pretty well that you were anticipating a little more work to go into?
Since this is the first time that WPI is working with La Perla, there's definitely some growth of trust that needs to happen. Like we can't just walk into La Perla and start asking for like private information or different things to put on a map, because like there's a lot of like trust that needs to occur, and we need to prove that like we're university students that are here to better their community before you can like kind of crack through and begin learning about like truly about like what you want to actually learn. So I'd say that and the language barrier at times is the two most challenging things in my project.
Feel like flexibility, staying on our toes a bit, like John said, listening to the community and what they have to hear or what they have to say, and listening to what they have to say, to really alter our project in a way that is going to be useful for our own studying, but also for themselves. So the community center that I'm working with, we are talking about how they needed potable water. So that wasn't really something that we planned coming in, but now it's something that we hope to produce for them by the time we leave. So just getting a sense of where everybody's at once you get down here is a big part of your IQ being, and being flexible with how you can actually help the community in certain ways.
What are some things that you're taking away from this experience, and entirely the Division III student athlete experience, to go forward?
In general, like WPI is very project based focus, and that alone like is really beneficial for the workforce after college. But I'd say just combining like our like team like focused basketball kind of skills and just like what we learn on the basketball court with working with a team of 4 students most of the time, but also a team of 24 students in a way where with the whole cohort, just really just trying to hear everyone out and like learn everyone's strengths. Like it does definitely connect between athletics and academics. So I'd say like as an athlete, I have felt like more prepared to do more teamwork stuff and to like in the moment like understand like what questions to ask and like just spur the moment decisions, I guess, because in the field, like it's not like you're like listening to your professor and they're telling you what to do. Like it's like you're going with like your gut and what the team's goal is at the end of the day, and kind of like rolling with it. So it's just like owning what decisions you make and trying to do what's best for the team and letting everyone just really like be a big impact and part of the team, I would say, would just be something that I've learned.
Yeah, and just to build off it, I think what John is trying to say is relationships are the biggest takeaway for me in terms of student relationships, sponsor relationships, government relationships. Everywhere you turn down here for the project, you're going to be working with somebody else. Having a good relationship with that other person could essentially be the building blocks to the next piece of the puzzle that you're really looking for, especially when you're trying to gain funding or you're trying to get resources or you're trying to get help from other people. If you have that phone number and you can call somebody and say, hey, I need this piece of equipment or I need this type of help, and they can offer that to you and you know that they're going to come through, it's just as big as having as much knowledge that you're going to take away from the island that we've already gained. So that's probably been the biggest takeaway for me, is building key relationships and having understanding who can really help push things forward.
Let's kind of shift gears towards the men's basketball program. You both are rising seniors and have been a part of some really good basketball squads for WPI, if not the best historically. Last year, finishing 27-3, reaching the Elite Eight. Each of you can kind of go over maybe a favorite moment.
Yeah, so I think my favorite moment is when we beat RPI by one in the Sweet 16 to send our team to the Elite Eight. I mean, it was just a rush of excitement and pure joy just because the season is so long, and I feel like we give so much as student athletes in terms of physically, mentally, emotionally, just to be able to get a win that sent us to the Elite Eight that, like you said, was a pretty historical run in terms of the school, was something that I was very proud to be a part of and definitely very happy to be a part of.
Yeah, I would say probably that NUMAC championship for sure is another incredible memory, and just celebrating it at our home court in Harrington is also just like the absolute best. Just because Harrington's just been at an absolutely incredible environment over these last couple of years, from our families to the band to alumni. It's definitely just an absolutely just incredible place and special place, and I know we always look forward to every single game in Harrington. It's always amazing. So I'd say that's definitely an incredible memory for sure.
They keep the energy alive through every moment of the game. So,
I mean, we've talked about your journey in men's basketball, academics, making it down to Puerto Rico. If you were to think of something that you wish you knew then that you know now, being 3 years in, what would be kind of your piece of advice that you would give those in your position?
go where you're most wanted and you have the best relationships, like I said. For me, picking WPI was easy. Like, I did visit a lot of other schools, I did talk to a lot of other teams, but the people that made up the team at WPI was what really stuck with me. Being introduced to a really good group of guys who are really smart, who are really driven every single day, that push you to be the best version of yourself, on top of the fact that the place like WPI really wanted me to play there. You can't really get much better than that. Two combos. Like, I'm able to work hard every single day with my best friends who push me to be better, and I don't. It's really rare to find that in programs, not just D3, but just across any level, as well as the commitment that our coaching staff and everybody at the school really has to try and elevate themselves, elevate everybody else. So for me, I guess it would be the relationships and go where you're most wanted.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Luff. But another piece of advice that I'd probably share is just at least in my perspective, just I think that just picking a program in a school that like has both like your best interest, the team's best interest, and also in general just is looking towards like teaching you life lessons. Like basketball, I've learned is much more than just like just a sport where we all just run up and down and play offense and defense and throw in a few plays here and there. Like there's so many life lessons that are a part of every practice, every coaching meeting, every pre-game talk or post-game talk. Like Coach Barley does an amazing job of really connecting those life lessons to the sport that we love. So I'm definitely thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the experiences as well that WPI has to offer on top of just basketball alone. Like the high academics and the IQP and unique project experiences are definitely also a huge plus and kind of get us out of our element. And it just doesn't make us just basketball players. Like there's I'm just really trying to push towards like becoming a better version of myself. And I feel like WPI's definitely helped me do that, where it's just much more than just being an athlete. Like you're just challenged every day, and it's great. So,
I was thinking the last thing that I was going to say is don't rush. The recruiting process, specifically for D3 sports, is not tedious, but if you are a good athlete, you're going to have a lot of schools talk to you. You're going to have a lot of schools that want you to go visit. They're going to be texting you a lot, trying to figure out what your major is going to be, all this and all that. Like, for me, it felt a little bit rushed. I felt like I had a lot of different directions I could have chosen. And as soon as I found WPI, I kind of just went that route. And I'm happy I did go that route, don't get me wrong. But like you said, if I could go back to being a senior in high school again, it would be to slow down a little bit, take your time, because the schools are going to be waiting for you there. Like, even if you tell them that you're going to play 2 months later, 3 months later, whatever it is, the building is still going to be there, but your decision to play at that school is only once. So I would just say don't rush it and enjoy the process of learning about all these different schools and universities.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your project down there. Good luck the rest of the way. And I guess we'll see you at the end of the D term, or are you guys going straight home, or what's that look like when you get back?
I'll be back in the Woo for a little bit. Have to see
Uh,
all my seniors who are graduating. Have a good time with them. So
awesome.
Yep,
All
definitely.
right.
I gotta see those guys.
Thank you for your time. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you back in Worcester soon.
Great. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.